Assalamualaikum Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. My name is Dody Riyanto. My student number is 17850. And here, in this opportunity, I would like to present my research proposal. The title is Developing Computer-Assisted Language Learning, or call to enhance students' performance for vocabulary development in English for region learner at 8th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran. Okay. Let's go to the chapter 1. Okay. This is chapter 1, Introduction. In introduction, for the first part is background of the reason. Here, there are three main topics as the background of my revision. For the first point is the most important in language learning is vocabulary, because without vocabulary people will get difficulty when they want to communicate to the other. They don't know the word that they want to say to the other or to the listener. And then for the second point is the conventional vocabulary learning method that is not appropriate for students in this era or in nowadays. As we know, teaching vocabulary for students in junior high school especially is not easy to do, especially English is not their second language. But nowadays, students are not gathering interest in conventional learning vocabulary method. They will get bored easily when they are taught by using conventional teaching method. And for the last topic here, computer-assisted language learning. This is for my solution of the conventional teaching method. In this era, teaching model have shifted from the conventional in this era, teaching model have shifted from the conventional to the modernity. Students are used to using technology in their daily life, especially smartphone and computer. According to the Rahmawati, she stated that the globalization became one factor affecting the development of science and education. Here, education, we have to underline. Because of that, as a professional English teacher, we should optimize technology in teaching, learning activities in our classroom. And then, learning model that use technology in the learning activities is computer-assisted language learning, or CALL. CALL is an important element of language learning, which supports the idea that computers should be used as a medium to facilitate students in learning. In language learning, especially in English. Okay. For the second part is the reason for choosing the topic. For the first reason is English learners should master the vocabulary, because vocabulary is one of the most English skills that the English learner should master. According to Robin and Thompson, 1995, they stated that it will be hard to master the language without learning or understanding or mastering a certain number of vocabularies. According to that statement, vocabulary provides the basis for mastering English skills such as writing, reading, listening, and speaking. And then, for the second reason is vocabulary teaching process in Indonesia still use conventional method. Yeah, as we know, uh, the teaching vocabulary in Indonesia still use uh, memorizing the meaning of the word. Students should memorize the meaning of the word when they find difficult words in their book. This method is not appropriate for the student in this era or in nowadays. Today, students are close with technology, especially gadgets such as computer and smartphone. As the teacher, we should optimize technology uh, to teach students in English learning, especially in vocabulary development. That's why the researcher choose this topic to be observed. And then for the next part is research questions. Uh, According to the background of the research above, here I can draw some research question about this research. For the first question is, what does call give effect to the English for region learner in 8th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran in vocabulary development? For the second question, how does call give impact to the English for region learner at 8th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran in vocabulary development? For the last question is, what is the indicator of the achievement that call can enhance student performance vocabulary development in English for region learner at 8th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran? And then the next part is the purposes of the research. Based on the research question above, here the purposes of the research. For the first one is to describe the effect of call to English for region learner in 8th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran in vocabulary development. And the second one is to analyze how call give impact the English for region learners in 8th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran in vocabulary development. And the last one is to identify the indicator and of achievement that call can enhance students' performance for vocabulary development in English for region learner in 8th grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran. And now we are at the last part of the chapter 1, that is contribution of the research. The first point is for the student. Here, let her to help the student for the next generation to know about the effect of call in vocabulary development. For the second one, the teachers. For the teacher, based on this research, teachers can apply this vocabulary development teaching method for their study or for their activities in their classroom. Okay, the next chapter is chapter 2, theoretical review. In the first part of chapter 2 is English for region learning in Indonesia. After the government launched regulation number 60/EU/1993 dated 25th February 1993, the Indonesian government has determined English as the foreign language to be learned by the student in Indonesia from elementary school as a local content up to the university level. But the result of EFL Learning in Indonesia has not been satisfactory enough yet. This condition can be happened by several reasons. The first reason, teaching method that is not appropriate for students in this era. Then the student's attention in the in English learning that is very weak. This reason that make EFL in Indonesia still has not been satisfactory enough. Okay, the next part is B, English vocabulary. There are many definitions about vocabulary, but here I took three definitions from the expert. The first definition comes from Newman and Dwyer, 2009. They stated that vocabulary is as we must know to communicate effectively, word in speaking and word in listening. Then, from Hornby, 1995, he defined vocabulary as the total number of words in language. Vocabulary is a list of words with their meanings. And for the last one, from Zimmerman, 1998. He stated that vocabulary is central to language of critical importance to be typical language learning. Based on this definition above, it can be concluded that vocabulary is the total of words that are needed to communicate ideas on and express the speaker's meaning. That is the reason why it is important to learn vocabulary. The next part is computer assisted language learning, or CAL. Computer assisted language learning is a teaching strategy that technology, computer here, becomes a medium in teaching activities to help the learners for learning English. According to Dody and Hackley, 2007, they stated that technology has been around in language teaching for decades. Then there are some areas in CAL program for education, but web-based learning is the one of the most fastest growing areas. It's because the technology development, especially in internet, is growing faster than the other. That is why in the study is focusing on the web-based learning to learn English vocabulary. Then technology gives independent effects for the learner in education. And using multimedia in teaching English as a foreign language can help the learner increase their independence and solve some difficulties experienced in traditional classroom. More experiences from the learner in computer decreases the level of computer anxiety that it will help the learner for learning English vocabulary. Then the next part is the learner's vocabulary performance toward using CAL. Evaluating CAL can be shown through the learner's performance during the program. According to Chappelli, the first level of evaluating is evaluating the CAL program. The second is evaluating the teacher activity. The last is evaluating learner's performance. The learner's performance in vocabulary learning toward using CAL can show the positive or negative effect of the program itself. Even CAL makes the learner improve their independence in learning English, but it is not completely freedom for the learners using the computer. Muhammadiyah, 2012, assumed that some rules should be designed to control and limit students to what they do instead of giving them complete freedom. which is against the learning goal of the program. This is to achieve the goal of the learning. And then the last part from chapter 2 is previous relevant studies. For the first previous relevant study, it is written from Ilham Mahmudi, Aldina binti Abdul Samad, Nur Zainab binti Abdul and Nur Zainab binti Abdul Razak. The title is Attitude and Student Performance in Computer Assisted English Language Learning for Learning Vocabulary. In this article, the researcher focused on the attitude and student performance in learning vocabulary toward using call. The researcher used two instruments for their research. They were questionnaire and test. A questionnaire was used to analyze the student attitude during the learning vocabulary by using call. Then the test was used to identify the student performance in learning vocabulary by using call. After they gathered the data, they analyzed the data by using statistical package for the social science or SPSS. Based on the data, there was a relationship between attitude and student performance in learning vocabulary toward using call, and the results have a significant after they use call in their learning vocabulary in the test itself. For the second previous relevant studies is the title is Students' Attitude Toward Computer-Assisted Language Learning. This article written by Moham Afshari, Simin Vigor, Saida Shurat, and Duangji. They conducted a quantitative research for their study. They used questionnaire for collecting the data, and then the participants were 100 students at the Faculty Language and Linguistics in University of Malaya. The results show that the participants have significant effect have significant effect on student attitude towards school. And then for the last previous relevant studies is the effect of computer assisted language learning on the development of EFL learners' read and writing skill. This article has written by Amin Zaini and Golnar Dahyesna, and the participants in the study were 44 students at IAS University in academic year 2012 until 2013. And the result showed that the student in experiment group performed better than the student in the control group. Because their writing class was conducted in the computer laboratory. Okay, for the last chapter is chapter 3, methodology. In the first part, research design. This research will use quantitative method with using tests for collecting the data. According to William, he stated that quantitative research employs strategies of inquiry such as experiment and survey, and collect data and predetermine instrument that yield statistical data. Quantitative research deal with collecting and analyzing data use statistical method. This research will use tests as the instrument for collecting the data and statistical package for the social science or SPSS for analyzing the data that have collected. The test itself will be conducted twice in this research. Pre-test will be conducted in the beginning of the research and the post-test in the last meeting with the respondent. And then in the part B, research subject. The subject of this research is student in age grade of SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran. The researcher will observe a class from this school. The researcher chooses the age grade student because in this grade they have been learning English more than when they were in 7th grade. It makes they have known about the vocabulary learning in English lesson. Hopefully later they can compare their previous vocabulary learning strategies to the vocabulary learning by using call. Okay, the next part is place and time of the research. Like I said before, this research will be conducted in SMP Negeri 1 Kembaran, specifically at age grade of student in English class. It will be started in August 2020 until January 2021. As you can see here, there are some points. List, yes. This following list is below the schedule of this study. For the first step is making proposal. It will be started in August until September. And for the second step is preparing the instrument of the research. It will be conducted in October. Then conducting the research, it will be started in November, and then analyzing the data in December 2020, and the last making the report in January 2001. And the next part is the technique of data collecting. Like I said before, this research uses tests as the instrument for collecting the data. The test itself will be conducted twice. The first test is pre-test. It will be conducted in the beginning of the meeting with the student or respondent. This is conducted to measure the student competence before they learn vocabulary using call. Researcher will distribute the pre-test to the student. Then the second is post-test. It will be conducted in the last meeting with the students. Post-test measures student performance in vocabulary after they learn vocabulary using call. The student will be answering all vocabulary questions by using computer. Technology that they have learned before. And then for the last part in chapter 3 is technique of data analyzing. This research will use the test for analyzing the data. The test is statistical technique that used to measure the difference of two distributions. The difference of two distributions itself, it is pre-test and post-test. This technique will be used after the post-test has conducted. Data that have collected will be analyzed to know whether the result is appropriate with the hypothesis. And And then you can see here the formula of the test is set. Okay, I think that's all from me. Hopefully you can get some benefit from my presentation about my proposal in research actually. And if you have any question, you can ask me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.